in Lakesh and Veritas, sending you the frequencies of oneness and truth. You are now tuned into Of the Sun's Suncast podcast, where we provide evolutionary topics expanding ourselves and humanity to become the truth and move into oneness. And we are coming live from the frequency and elevation of one mind. That's right. We have Lao Tzu of the Sun, the guiding force and architect of the vibrant organism, providing of the Sunners wisdom and guidance so that we may be the truth and be free. I am Tavares of the Sun, certified practitioner of the Sun modalities and creative director behind Of the Sun's artwork, programs, and sessions. So we greet you again in Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect and gratitude.
We'd like to begin by calling for the truth. We should begin our day, begin every activity by calling for the truth. Shall we call for the truth? Shall we call to see the truth? In everything, let us see what is true in it. So let us call to hear the truth. In everything that we hear, let us discern the truth in it. Let us have the courage to speak the truth in all circumstances. Shall we call for the frequency of truth to be in our experience? Shall we have nothing less than the truth?
So we're about to discern the truth regarding quantum light property clearing. So many of you who have been following Of the Sun, you understand that this is the bread and butter. This is, well, actually not bread and butter. This is the delicious kale alkaline salad with a little basil dressing on top. That's how we get down. And for those who are going through, matriculating through the process of soul clearing, DNA activation, even getting your own property cleared, getting one mind reconnection, this is what the elites are within Of the Sun. Learning how to effectively identify interferences within spaces and places and effectively collapse them. And it's required to have the appropriate level of power to do this, hence getting your soul all cleaned and shined up so that you can tap into that. So today we have someone really cool on the line with us. He is a student of ours. Matter of fact, I'd like to read his bio.
But before you do, I want to share that quantum light property clearers are the superheroes of the Sun.
That's right.
They are the warriors who put down the darkness in the places and spaces. And we are happy to bring forward one of our warriors.
That's right. Can you see our capes? Flapping. So who we are bringing on, this Of the Sunner, is a specialist in biofeedback. So Jerry Scott has been working with quantum biofeedback since 1999, certified by Natural Therapies Certification Board, and he has over 25 years of experience with herbal remedies. He recently completed Dr. Teresa Dell's neuroendocrine course, California College Natural Medicine. Jerry employs a variety of modalities and strives to tailor sessions with each individual. He also happens to be a quantum light property clearer who has integrated quantum light property clearing with his holistic practice, and he is soon to become a soul translator, which is the entry point for advanced soul clearing. So we'd like to introduce Jerry Scott in Lakesh and Veritas.
Welcome, Jerry. We're so pleased to have you, as so many healers around the country want to do more, and you are very representative of what many of the people who are healing, maybe not as professionally as you are, but who are healers who want more and want to service their clients more. And you have been a true, someone who has brought it even further. And I'd love to hear you talk about your story of how you met us and some of the things that you're doing. Would you share that with us?
It's been over 3.5 years ago now. My son, the year ago, to rent, and he cleaned it all up, painted hardwood flooring, new heating and air. Really had a nice 3-bedroom home. People would come look at it, said they loved it, but he would get their credit app, and their credit was good. He would call them up, they didn't come back. This went on for a month now, and he was really getting nervous because he had a mortgage. And so someone, I don't even remember who, told me about this woman named Lyola in Florida who could do property clearings. So I was open. I called her up, set her up. She did the property clearing. And the next day, he had over 60 calls and had it rented by that following weekend. So I was just blown away. My son was blown away. My first thing to Laura was, "Can you teach me how to do it?" She said, "Sure." So I traveled to Florida, and it's history now. I've been clearing homes for over 3.5 years now, and I just love it. I love the results and all the great comments and feedback that I get, and some happy homeowners as well.
It's very interesting because you have steadfastly shared with people. You may not know all of the answers of how things work, but you have certainty that things work. And I've heard you say that. It always makes me smile because you are the one who is in effect doing it. But I'd love to hear, I know you work with major companies, real estate companies. I know you have worked with storage units and individuals. You've had properties that were cemeteries, and that you're constantly learning and adding to it. Is there a story that you'd like to share with us that you think would be interesting?
I sure do. This one is a storage unit facility, had an office there as well on the property. And the girls working in there were always complaining to the owner about the computer would crash, or they had a refrigerator, it would stop working. They also heard a voice. They were actually scared to work in there, and someone told them about me. And so this owner calls me and asks me, about the quantum property light clearing, and I explained it to him, and he said, "Well, can you guarantee it?" I said, "Well, I can't guarantee it, but how about this? I'll clear that property in your office. If you're not satisfied, you don't have to pay me." He says, "Fair enough." So the following day, I cleared that property. They were off the property for 2 hours, and the third hour rolls around. The owner's calling me, says, "Where did I send the check?" The place was totally different. It was quiet. Everything was working like it was supposed to. And yeah, it was amazing. But I think what's really funny, when we were the bookkeeper calls me and says, "How are we going to put this in our books? Quantum property light clearing? How do we put this in our books?" And we both put our heads together and we said, "How about put it under pest control?" So that's what it ended up being, pest control. So ever since that, for this company, I've cleared properties in Atlanta, Georgia, all over the place for them. Yeah.
It's very
And
interesting.
even ran into a problem with a property they bought in Georgia. It was Native Americans. It was on actually a Native American burial ground, and yeah, it turned out to be good though for them. Yeah.
I know you're working with real estate companies, and I do have to share, just so everyone knows, we will not take payment after the fact.
Yeah.
They do need to pay us before. However, I'm interested in some of your work with real estate companies. Some of the people that you have worked with have come in and taken classes and are in such praise of the work that you do. And so I'd like to know, how did you feel about your class? Tavares was your instructor. So how was your class in Fort Myers when you came there? And I got to meet you then.
Yes. It was awesome. The facility and the energy there was tremendously clear. Really, really good experience. And I think my biggest memory, I told Tavares, it was after the first class. Let's see, I came in on a Friday. I didn't sleep well in the room at all. And so that Saturday morning, I told Tavares, I said, I can't sleep in this room. It's horrible. He said, "Well, let me clear it for you." So he cleared that room. And that night, I slept like a baby. It was peaceful. So I couldn't wait to get back in class and figure out what is he doing, how you can do this.
Well, I get phone calls from Jerry all the time. "Hey, you got something new for me? When's the next level? Any new techniques?" And I must say, it really brings warmth to me to see like where he's taken this and the level of confidence that he has within himself doing this. He was inspired by what he saw from us.
Yes.
He took it, he applied it, and he is quite successful with this.
Yes, so many people would like to work with real estate companies, and you are successfully working with not only real estate, but insurance, all kinds of companies with clearing their spaces. Will you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, that word, it's all been word of mouth. I don't even advertise. I don't have to advertise. It's word of mouth. It's amazing the different companies I've worked with now, but I think one that was really unique, it was actually a psychic lady here in Louisville, Kentucky. She's well known, and she did a reading for me, and she found out that I was a property clearer. So she had me to clear her home where she'd done these readings, and she couldn't get over it. Her readings were clear. Her thought pattern was a lot clearer. It was so much stronger reading for her. So she has spread my name. She does readings all over the United States, and so I now clear properties all over the United States. I've been in San Francisco, all over California, Atlanta, Georgia, you name the state, and I've probably cleared one or two properties there. Yeah.
This is fantastic. So many people don't realize that when they enter another person's field, even to do a psychic reading, that they pick up whatever the other person has. And if they don't have strong methods of hygiene, of spiritual hygiene, then they are a cumulation of all of the people they have read and their troubles. And so having a clearing in the space, because the space is symbiotic with the people who live in the space. Spiritual hygiene is an absolute necessity in this time we live in that is quite dark. And it's important that just as we take a bath, that we should clear ourselves spiritually. Otherwise, we accumulate energy that works against us, and we become our own enemy by not clearing ourselves. Just like if you didn't brush your teeth, you would be your own enemy. You know, if you didn't clean your bathroom, you'd be your own enemy. So this is very similar in the custodial care that we offer as quantum light property clears is significant, and people, it's visceral. People do feel it. So I'm glad to hear that. But share with us more about how you started working with real estate companies.
Well, I had one real estate company call me. It was a lady trying to sell a townhome, and it had been on the market, I think, well over a month, maybe a couple of months, with no activity. And so they called on me to clear it, and we did that. After that clearing, and after the dark energies were moved from that home, it sold within less than a week. They couldn't get over the activity they started getting on that property. So, and I've also cleared properties that have had Native Americans buried on there. One particular was over in Indiana, here across the bridge from us here in Kentucky. It was quite a few acreage there. It was pretty much a Native American cemetery, and the people who lived there were sick all the time. They had never had any health problems, so they moved on that property. And it was just a miserable life for them. And so once that one was cleared, there was actually a cat that was left there from the previous owner that was mean as a snake. I mean, the cat would just snarl at you. And after that property is cleared, the owner reported to me that it would come up to her and just purr and rub against her leg. That cat was so happy to have that property in the shape it's in now. Yes.
This is so significant. When we clear a property, all of the ones who have animals can leave the property there. It is not unusual that an animal will pick up an attachment from whatever is in the house. The low frequencies affect all of the material where we are all made from earth. We all are of the same minerals of earth, including the timbers in the house, the cement, all of those things. So are we, and so are all other natural things that live in the house. So if there are trapped energies of anger or frustration, if there are trapped energies of abuse, we come in truly as the warrior to free the anger, to free the abuse, so that it may go on to be something greater, and that the connection between the person and the living situation can be clear. So this is a wonderful example of what happens, that animals do suffer from the environments on the property and in the houses, and it is part of our traditional way of clearing, that we can leave the animals in the house and clear them, and then they get to be themselves after that. Do you have anything on that?
Yes, Jerry did share this story with me, and I was familiar with the client also. And this was a rather extreme experience. The woman would attempt to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, when they moved there, the cat was on the property, and the woman was attempting to nurse the cat and feed the cat, and the cat was aggressive. It would bite, it would snarl at her, and again, there was a complete 180 in the behavior. So for me, hearing that, I'm like, yeah, proof is in the pudding. That is the truth, and the effectiveness and how it serves all parties involved, all forms of life.
The symbiotic connection between the living souls who are in the property and the property itself is not well understood in the third dimension, but we are all one.
Yes.
We are all one. The cat is us. We are the cat. The house is us. After a person lives in a house, it actually becomes their thinking. When a person moves into a new house, it may not be their thinking. Maybe the previous owner, it may be the owner or the construction people. But once you've lived in a house for 3 years, the house becomes your thought pattern. So if you're walking around the house thinking lovely thoughts, the house is filled with your lovely thoughts. If you're walking around the house thinking sadness, sorrow, depression, and self-sabotage, the house then inculcates that back to you. It refers it back to you until your material is saturated, and we call that disease.
Yes. I'd like to touch on that. And, it works both ways, positive and negatively. And I've heard many clients say, this property clearing was like a fresh start, like cleaning the canvas or giving me a blank canvas to work with, where we can then imprint high vibrational frequencies that will support us in moving in a desired direction of elevation, and where our home, our environment will support us.
This concept, this concept of a fresh start is the beneficence and the beauty of the universe. As long as we are breathing, we can start again. And we can help people who are inundated with situations where all manner of things may be going on in their house because it hasn't been properly addressed. And sage, as much as we are in respect of sage, is not enough for many situations. Would you agree, Jerry?
I would. It's that you say that, it brings to mind to me being in other people's homes, especially some of my relatives. It's the toxicity level is so high in there for me in a lot of those homes. It's hard for me to breathe in there. Probably I'll last maybe about 15, 30 minutes at the most, and I have to walk outside because I'm getting so tired because of the level of toxicity. I never experienced that before until after I did all the soil clearings and moved on into property clearing, that I'm very, very sensitive and in tune with it now. I can tell in a home very quickly when I enter it, like, ooh, this is a rough one, So, yes, they need a freshening up.
Yes.
So what Jerry's talking about, how the soul clearings allowed him to become more aware of what we're always in, but we have no idea. To me, it's akin to a fish being inside of a pond that's toxic. And we've been swimming in there, we were born in that, and we don't know that it's toxic until you're cleared and then you're placed into another pond that's clean, and then next thing you know, you go visit that toxic pond and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe, my gills, and this is a reality that I understand that we all must get to, where we have more awareness of what is going on in the background behind the physical that's influencing us all.
The quantum light property clearings is hand in hand with the soul clearings. I know that when Jerry got his soul clearings, there were some unique things that happened. In many cases, spontaneous healings take place. The same happens with the property clearings. As the property clearer becomes stronger in their work, in their practice of being a warrior to clean the spaces and places, then the effect on the humans in the space is greater.
Yes.
It is still property clearing, but property is the person. So you're still interacting with the molecules, with the DNA, with the energy, and it is such a wonderful thing. I so salute and hold in high esteem those who walk into darkness bravely and put it down. Congratulations. I'm glad that you're doing so great. And I know that we're all in disguise, so we don't look like who we are.
No.
However, there have been so many exciting and interesting experiences, each one taking us further into our understanding of oneness and how the universe is one thing. And there's more. Right now, we're working with the consciousness of the divine feminine. And the consciousness of the divine feminine is life itself. Men don't give birth, and the universe is feminine. It is not neuter, and it's not masculine, so it gives birth to consciousness. And so the idea of the divine feminine not having been fully embraced in our world has left us weakened because we don't have the balance of both polarities in creation. It takes a masculine polarity, divine masculine and divine feminine, to produce life, but we have very little on her story side, but on his story side we have quite a bit. So this is now an idea that we can use to move life itself forward into all of our clearings, into all of our experiences. And now this is a great ally as our understanding expands. Then the understanding of our clearings and the power of our clearings is stronger with this component of the divine feminine. In fact, all of Earth and all of humanity, everybody who has ever birthed on this world came through a woman. So we are all in honor of this, one way or another.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you know?
We have a question from the gallery.
How do you know if I'm hearing this? How do I know if I need my property cleared? If it's really bad, so to say, or if it's to the degree that I'm hearing some of these examples with? How would I know that, oh, I need to get my property cleared, my house cleared, or my apartment, or wherever I have, or even my car, because I spend a lot of time in my car.
I'm not sure if everybody heard that, but we're being asked, how will you know if you need your property or your car cleared? How would you identify that? I'd love for both of you to answer that.
Well, I'll say that off rip, everyone requires a property clearing, because think about the example that was given. It's akin to cleaning your house.
Yes.
When was the last time that a property was cleared? So if this property has been in existence for like 12 years, 5 years, and it's never had a clearing, and then you have all this accumulation, previous occupants, the current occupants, you would need a clearing.
So it's like a bath, kind of.
It's like a bath, but it's more than that, because it takes into consideration that there's more than just you in this lifetime. That this property may have been in a battle in the Civil War.
That's right.
The property may have been centuries ago in some kind of other experience, and that is, we're honoring the reality that we are not everything.
Yes.
You know, that there is more to the depth of our experience than just our own aspect of us being in this lifetime right now. So in the same way, and I always use this example, in the same way, when you go on vacation and you clean your house and you come back, your house is full of dust. We live
That's
in
right.
physical reality. There's negative. We have to, have you ever noticed how cats are constantly cleaning themselves? How dogs are constantly cleaning themselves?
Right.
Everything that's
Understand.
intelligent is busy cleaning itself.
Yes.
And keeping its space clear as well, keeping themselves as healthy as possible. And so humans are really good at the physical hygiene aspect. They have a priority to take a bath, to clean their teeth, but we're not very good at understanding that other things affect us and that we're made from the very same things as the trees and the dirt, and the same elements on the periodic table apply to us. More importantly, when you think about the idea of driving in a car, just think of all the things you think about while you're driving down the street. Like, oh yeah, I got to pay that bill. Oh yeah, I'm going to see these people. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. All of that's in your car. And of course, when you get out of the car and go in the place, then you hit a brick wall because you haven't employed the practices that will help you keep yourself clear, help you keep the car clear. And the car has been listening to that for years from you, and it barely wants to move. It's like, I can't carry this burden of all of your worry and all of your pain anymore. I need a clearing. Call someone.
Who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call? Jerry.
Ghostbusters.
That's right. We've had a number of people refer to us as Ghostbusters, which is the truth from one perspective. I'd also like to add back to the viewers' question that some more practical reasons behind getting a property clearing. If you're having a divorce, you're separating, new roommates, things like that, you're looking to sell a property. These are some very common reasons. I mean, there's so much more, but I'd like to also hear what Jerry has to share on this idea.
Well, working in the biofeedback area and, seeing clients on a daily basis, some of them are so sick all the time, and I'm thinking, something's going on here. And usually it ends up being the home that they're living in. So once they clear that space they live in, their health seems to improve fairly rapidly, especially ones that had homes that had Native Americans buried on there. Makes a huge difference for them. So that word of mouth has gone tremendous. Clients feeling better, they're no longer sick, they're able to heal up. Yeah, they're walking into a clean home, just like you said, a clean bath.
Yes, absolutely.
You refresh the home. So
cleanliness is next to godliness. It is.
Yes. Yeah.
And this allows us to go to a higher level, to elevate ourselves in our thinking. If we feel better, it's very difficult to be hysterically happy in pain. But if we remove the pain and suffering, then we can float up to the level where we can meet and everyone who we see can smile and we can all feel better. And then it translates and transfers. It's contagious. Just like anger is contagious in the same way. So
We have a
another question?
So from hearing this, one of the ideas that came to me is this would be something that would make a really good opportunity to gift people.
Yes.
To clear their home, people you care about, you love, you work
Yes.
with, things like that, to clear their space so that they can have the least amount of interference that they're not adding their own selves to as possible in you all's relationship and in their lives. So I have a few questions. One being, do you have to have their consent to do it? And this is with the from the inspiration of gifting it to someone. Can you just do it on their behalf? Do you have to have their consent? Two would be, how would you go about, what if they're not interested in the details of it? How would you go about relaying the information to them? Is it needed? And three would be, how so to say, expensive is it to do this, with the idea in mind that I might be interested in doing this for others? Is this something that's, a big financial commitment? Is this, something that, less than it costs maybe to buy a pair of Jordans? Or, I'm trying to get an idea of, what I need to put aside, Do I go sell a pair of Jordans and then I can do, tell me.
All right, who would like to take that, or I'll take it. Whoever would like to talk about it, it's fine.
I'd like to jump off with it. So one of the ideas regarding property clearing and hold on, can you just briefly restate the first question?
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah,
there were
there's-
5 questions
I'm
there.
sorry. So the first one being, do I have to have their consent to clear a property for them, or to obviously get a property cleared for them, maybe as a gift? And even if it's not to the full degree that it might be if it was for myself, can I do anything on their behalf without their consent or their interest, so to say? Maybe for a grandparent, maybe for
Okay, so we made a joke about Ghostbusters, and Ghostbusters have a level of authority to clear with. So when a person steps into this level of power, being a warrior, being in alignment with higher dimensional beings, being in alignment with the earth, the sun, all the different elemental forces that support this idea, you step into a level of authority where you can clear your neighbor, you can clear your friend's home, your children's home, to
The
support
block you
them.
live on?
Yes, and more. So this comes when a person steps into this level of power, that level of authority is bestowed upon them. And it is righteous when you think about it. We are taking care of the extension of ourselves, because we are custodians of the planet. So this idea of taking care of our planet means I'm going to take care of the homes that are here on the planet that are contributing to levels of toxicity. So if I can take care of that and address that, I can make it better for everyone.
There is this idea that it's important to be understood, especially by those who want to heal. This is your planet. Every place you put your foot is sacred space. It is incumbent upon us to make that so.
Yes.
We are in favor of free will and free choice. We are not free when darkness devours us. That is not freedom. And if you live next door to darkness that's devouring your property line, you are free to put it down. And we encourage you to. We are the answer to many things that you don't, so we are in harmony with the laws and principles of free choice. But we are not free when we are being subjugated by darkness. We are not free if we live in a house that is encumbered with abuse, where everybody who comes there is abused, when everybody who comes there gets a divorce. That is not freedom. So we are on the higher path of understanding that we have been, through the property clearing class, you become attached to levels of clarity, and you bring yourself through practice, into a level of being the authority in that situation. So I hope that answers your question.
It does.
There was a part 2, and this idea of, does the person need to have understanding of what's taking place? Not necessarily. However, it would be wise to do so. So when we do quantum light property clearing consultations, it's an opportunity for educating the clients, to inform them, one, of how they got into the situation. It would be wise if they shifted their behavior so that they don't attract similar energies or things that were akin to what was cleared, so that they can maintain their clearing. And then, of course, we have energetic support products that we provide them to do this, where they don't have to keep getting clearings every single week, but they also have mental clearing practices to keep themselves clear, keep themselves in higher states of elevation. And as we mentioned, it works both ways. We can imprint the space with positive energy that will support us with moving in a more exalted trajectory. That's what I have on that.
And that is wonderful. And Jerry, if you have something, just kind of wave your hand on this. But part of the idea is that, of course, the more a person knows and adheres to, the greater the effect and the greater the relevance of the clearing to hold. However, the clearings work whether you believe it or know it or not.
That's right.
So if I clear a 5-year-old, they're still cleared. They don't have to understand everything. If I clear a 90-year-old who is not able to adhere to the understanding of it, they're still clear. If I clear their space, if I clear their pain and suffering out of their room, they will feel better whether they know or whether they don't know. This does not require anyone's approval or their belief. Yes. It works either way. However, if you believe and if you use the products and if you do what we recommend, you get a better outcome. Yeah. You do get a much better outcome. If you use the clearing candles, are a perfect gift because everyone understands that energy is left behind from sadness or depression or arguments. Everyone is really understanding how that is a wonderful experience. We have heard from people who've received these as gift that it's the best gift. Clearing candles to hold this clearing in the space. We have candles that are pyramids and different colors of the chakras. If you burn it for 20 minutes in a space that's cleared, it'll keep those rooms clear. You get 8 hours of burn, then the candle can last a long time. But if you have words with someone or a bad phone call, you can burn the candle and that will do it. What has happened, the frequencies that go into the clearing for the property are in the candle. So then you can organize for you to get your clearings maybe every 3 months or 4 months. You don't need to get them every month if you have the products. And if you're eating right, then it's even further out. And if you're thinking using easy techniques like thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, if you're replacing the things in your thought pattern that have made you sad and unhappy for year after year after year, if you just replace that an hour with something that's uplifting, your life will change. It is so clear that when people call me and they say something's wrong, I automatically know they're not doing it. Because when they do it, there's no problems. People don't need to call me and say there's a problem if they're doing the practices. Oh, or there's a little technical. But if a person calls me and they say, my husband and I are fighting, I'm like, oh, you're not doing the practices. Because if you're doing them, you're at peace. Mm-hmm. Now, the other person may be fighting, but that's not easy to do alone. Do you have anything you'd like to mention on this point of this question about clearing, or do you have anything you want to add before we continue to answer his questions?
No, I think that really covers it. The home is a lot more peaceful, and plus keeping your thought pattern in a higher vibration makes a huge difference. I'm like you. I get people, tell me they have this problem, that problem. I have them do the Ho'oponopono. I teach them how to do it in my office. And so you keep doing that, it'll just fade away. It'll just disappear. I experienced that with one of my family members that I just can't seem to vibrate with. And it's gone now. All that's gone. I just started doing Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you say it over and over, and the vibration changes.
I'm so pleased that you went into it, because there's like a secret understanding that our world is unaware of, and that is that gratitude is the currency in all dimensions, on all galaxies, in every universe. Being grateful and saying thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. We already know that people who say peace are fighting harder than everybody else. So that's not working, because in the Middle East, both sides are saying peace all the time. That doesn't they've been saying peace for 1,000 years, and they've been fighting for thousands of years. So the understanding that we're bringing forward is gratitude. Being grateful is the currency. If there were no money and you were grateful, you could have anything you wanted. Just being grateful to your water, being grateful for the air, being grateful to be alive, being grateful to have such an opportunity to affect humanity and physical reality is enough to keep you smiling all day long and being highly vibrational. Did you have another question that we didn't answer yet?
About the financial commitment of clearing properties, and how would I go about doing that, especially with the idea of gifting in mind? I
don't know what Jordan's cost.
Around the range of a property clearing, almost.
Yeah, I didn't know how much those tennis shoes cost, so I know what our prices. Everything is priced. Each practitioner may do something different, but everything is priced through headquarters, and the prices have never changed. For the last decade, I have had all the same prices. Everything, all the services are about between $200 and $250, and we find that everybody who is determined can work within that framework, and it allows our professional clearers to receive the appropriate benefit for using their life force to save someone's life.
That's less than a bottle of Hennessy at the club on Saturday night. Wow, awesome.
So
make it happen.
I'm so glad you know all those prices.
Oh yeah.
So
market research.
So I understand it's all about where you put your value, and do you value the Jordans or the bottle of Hennessy more than you value clearing the toxicity in your environment that continues to pull you under or make you sick, as Jerry was saying?
Or that $400 purse that you want to have, that will not keep you clear.
That probably doesn't have $400 in it. I'm speaking truth. Someone felt that.
This is definitely a reality. We thank you so much, Jerry. Did you have any other stories you wanted to share with us before we go?
I'm good. My phone is about to lose its power, and
you're trying to plug in?
Getting plug in, yes. But no, thank you for having your program.
Well,
it's really been.
we're really happy that you joined us, and I think bringing this forward
You guys are awesome.
as a successful property clearer, we are so pleased with you. We'd like to add you to our website so people can find you all over the world. And so we'll
you.
be adding you to the website, so all of the listeners will be able to find you on the website, and they can have your numbers and see your bio, have your picture, and we're so pleased. And I'm looking forward to you in my October class for soul translation.
I'm looking forward. I can't wait to get your October class. I'm like, yeah.
Jerry's been asking for about
I've
a
always
year.
want more. I just want more. And the clearing rug that I just purchased from you, it's unbelievable. I can put my feet on that thing and I just wobble all over the place sometimes. Just step on it. The energy's so strong.
Well, thank you so much, Jerry, for joining us. And do we have any final thoughts on anything you want to say, Tavares?
Just once again, thank you, Jerry. Again, it's a pleasure. I do mean this when I say you're one of my favorite students,
Yes.
because you're out there, you're not talking about it, you're being about it, and you're extremely successful. And for any of the clearers that are listening, may this be inspiration to you and see what's possible, the potential's out here with Quantum Light Property Clearing. And then also, as we mentioned, the Soul Translation Level 1 class in the month of October. You can go to the Of a Sun website on the home page, get those dates. The prerequisite is Quantum Light Property Clearing Level 1, so you would have at least had to take that in order to step into this level of clearing.
There is a prerequisite. Things can be moved through pretty quickly, and we're really excited about doing the soul translation again. There will be, in the new year, we will have updates, audits for the Quantum Light Property Clearers, and more property clearing classes available for students. So we thank you again,
Yes.
and we salute you.
Respect and
Oh, thank
gratitude.
you.
Honor, respect,
I'm
and
honored.
gratitude.
I am
Thank you for your
honored
time.
to be part of your family. I just